Methodist Church are packed and ready for the Russians. A Russian cargo plane arrives at Barksdale tomorrow to take away 80 tons of donated food and medical supplies. Most of it came from local churches and civic groups, but others donated as well.
The outpouring of help has been tremendous. We've had medical equipment come in from as far away as Florida and Kansas, and we've gathered that here and prepared it for shipment. It's being included.
Now, the plane leaves Barksdale Friday for Ekaterinburg. The trip is expected to take 14 hours.
The Russian AN-124 cargo plane arrived under cover of darkness, but its mission no secret, certainly nothing sinister, just a bit delayed. But once on the ground, the work began. All morning long, Barksdale airmen and their Russian counterparts loaded the AN-124 with the food and medical supplies collected throughout North Louisiana by Methodist churches and other civic groups. Now, despite the heavy lifting, the Barksdale airmen considered the work satisfying, but couldn't help notice the differences between the Russian cargo plane and the U.S. KC-10 cargo carrier.
The cargo carrying capability of the KC-10 involves a roller system for ease of loading on the aircraft. The AN-124 has a flat floor surface. We don't have the rollers, so we're using forklifts and having to floor load everything onto the airplane. It's much needed supplies. Everything that's going over there, food staples, medical equipment, medical supplies, much needed, and I'm glad to see it going over there.
For me personally, it's all this cargo is not any of great importance than the relationship between two nations, so between the ordinary people. The friendship.
Earlier in the week, the food and medical supplies locally collected landed in Ekaterinburg. We now have pictures of the unloading. After several delays, the transport plane finally made it. Ekaterinburg is the Russian city targeted for the nearly 80 tons of supplies. It's a city of nearly 1.5 million people situated within the Ural mountain range. Reverend Dwight Ramsey returned from the mission late Wednesday night.
Oh, it was a great moment. The culmination of a lot of prayers and hard work by many people. It was a very moving moment to see that food. I saw the distribution of some of that food, and it was well received. They need it.
Have you ever seen someone cry when they got a 5-pound bag of sugar? Food on board that Russian cargo plane was given out last week to Ekaterinburg's oldest and poorest. Their reactions to the sugar, dehydrated soup, and powdered milk were heart-wrenching. As members of the Ekaterinburg Methodist Church explained to this woman how to use the food she was getting, she began crying. Thank you, she says, and breaks down. That scene was to be repeated throughout a very long day. Many, if not most, of the Russians who got food boxes had never received any help before. This food was unexpected and needed. This elderly woman was helped to stand up so she could thank the only American in the room, the photographer.
God bless you.
Spasiba, thank you, she says. And thanks to all Americans for helping us in World War II. Crews from the church visited some sad places. This woman lives in a one-room apartment with her 18-year-old invalid daughter. Listen to her daughter's reaction to a chocolate bar. One by one, the cooking oil and pasta, rice, soup, and sugar are pulled out of the box until it becomes too much for the mother to bear. And in another case, a woman looks at the tea and flour, but cradles the sugar in her lap, afraid almost to let it go.